let me record here and we will get started. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. We are joined by head women's soccer coach Nikki Izzo-Brown this morning. We will go ahead and open it up to questions. Just a reminder to use the raise hand feature when you're ready. All right, Kevin Kinder, you can open us up.
Nikki, obviously we talked about scoring. You go on a record tear. You know, what really goes into that? Obviously the opposition is a little bit of it, but how do you try to continue that other than the obvious things of, hey, we're going to keep working on the, items, the things that we think led to those goals?
Yeah, the best method is failure. At Duke, we hit a post, we hit a crossbar, we had a sitter, we had an open header, and those are moments that you have to continue to execute as we know at the highest level. Teams like Duke, though, won't give you a lot of chances, and you have to finish those chances. And unfortunately, we weren't able to do that. Duke capitalized on, and their pressure capitalized on our mistakes, and caused those mistakes. So we wanted to make sure going into Sunday's game that, we continued to hunt finishing and executing when we had chances. And I thought the team, their goalkeeper had a great game, by the way, too. And as much as, we executed a lot of our chances, I thought St. Francis did a good job defending us in moments. So to answer your question is just, laser focused. We have to be laser focused and understand that to have big moments, we have to execute those chances.
Oh, Nick Farrell, you can go ahead. Sorry, I didn't know I was muted.
Yeah, all good. Coach, how are you?
Good, Nick. How you doing?
I'm great, thanks. Hey, you guys have played Penn State over the last 2 decades, almost as if they're a conference team, right? Why has that series been important to you and your program?
I will speak from me and not from Penn State, but it's just been a great rivalry. I have the utmost respect for Penn State and all that they've accomplished. And, obviously they are a top 10 program, top 25 program that does it at the highest level nationally. So it's an important game for us because we've had this tradition of always playing each other, and it's always a great game, no matter who wins. So I think for both of us, it brings out the best in us, or the worst. And that's what we want to see going into conference play. So there's a mutual respect, I believe. And it's a natural rivalry because both programs won their conference last year, and we'll see each other through that NCAA tournament at some point. So it's just a good gauge of where we are as a program.
Kevin Kinder, you can go ahead.
First 2 games, you've gotten a lot of players into action. You learned anything new, and can you learn new things from players in game conditions versus, practice preseason?
Oh yeah. I mean, we're still, trying to figure things out. And you'll see that a lot of the rotation isn't the older players, it's the newer players, and really just trying to get a feel of what's going to be our best chemistry and understanding of them. Because as a coach, and until they're here in this environment playing against other women, you really don't know what they can do. And then the same thing, adjusting to pressure of an opposition. You can only do so much in training, and then all of a sudden when different teams present different issues, especially pressure, you really get a feel for what players can do under pressure. So that's really important. And then us just finding the right combinations as a staff.
And I'm guessing following on to that, it was good to get a lot of players that time in a game that wasn't a lot of pressure, in the second half against St. Francis. But how much more is it important that they got some of that time against Duke, where you can really judge them, as you said?
Those experiences, and again, when you're in a locker room and I can say, hey, in 216, this is what we did, they're tuning out. But when I can say, hey, this is what happened at Duke and what we did at Duke or what we did at St. Francis, now all of a sudden everything becomes a little bit verified, as they would say, or, now there's a little bit more facts behind a myth there. So that those experiences, as hard as it was going and playing Duke on the road the first game, those are valuable lessons. It's just now how important the team takes those in, learns from them, and then continues to develop.
Nick Farrell, you can go ahead.
Yeah, so Coach, along those lines, everybody wants to talk about the transfer portal these days. And even before that, there was always turnover on rosters. You'd bring in classes of freshmen and they'd have to learn and start from the ground up, right? So in this new era where there in some cases is more roster turnover than ever, how important is experience within your system?
Oh, it's invaluable. I mean, it's invaluable. And look at the transfer portal is important, but even when kids, no matter what, your junior and senior level kids have experienced 2 years of playing 20 plus games, right? Being in the weight room. And then on top of us, it's all about development here. Having 43 pros, we have a system here that we want to make you the best version of yourself. So for us, your junior and senior year is really trusting the process and then understanding your time will come. If it doesn't come early, it'll come later because of all the education and opportunity that happened in the development. So for me, there's nothing more important than having kids for their 4 years here. And you'll see now with this COVID, this 5th year thing is incredible. I mean, I just, as much as I didn't, and we all know COVID was not very good, that 5th year opportunity for kids, and for me to coach them and give them that extra year, like Jordan Brewster, she's like, Coach, I want to come back. I could see where I'm not ready, and that now that's paid dividends to the contract she got and why she's playing and starting.
Any other questions for Coach? All right, we'll go ahead and wrap it up there today. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Pump that game up. Big double header. Need a big crowd. Big crowd.